This video is an introduction to exponential numbers and reducing those using our rules. Our first example, we want to simplify, example A. So we're going to start with our exponent, negative 3 raised to the third power. What that says is negative 3 times negative 3 times negative 3, which is negative 27. And then you still have this negative out in front. So negative 27 is a positive 27. Be very careful when you do exponential numbers with negatives. Second example, we have a fraction and we want to do some reducing. So we can reduce the numerator and the denominator by a factor of 3. So I divide this by 3 and I get 2. I divide 9 by 3 and I get 3. I can divide the numerator and denominator by an x. So that becomes canceled out to a 1, and this now becomes just an x. I can reduce the numerator and denominator by y to the 5th. Y to the 5th and y to the 5th cancel out. So my final answer I'm left with in the numerator is a 2, and in the denominator I have 3x. Next example. I have a fraction, but I have a power to a power rule. So think about this number 2, and it has to distribute into both pieces, and this 2 has to distribute into both pieces. So I take that x squared, raise it to the second. I take that y squared, and then in the denominator, I have 5 raised to the second, and I have x squared raised to the second. Now I'm just going to clean up my powers. So x squared squared, something raised to the second power, you want to multiply those. So squared squared becomes x to the 4th. And then I still have that y squared over 5 times 5 is 25. And then x squared squared, multiply again, I get x to the 4th. Now let's see what we can reduce. We can divide the numerator and the denominator by a factor of 5. So that cancels out to be a 1. This reduces down to just a 5. I can cancel both the numerator and denominator by an x to the 4th. And then I don't have any y's in the denominator to cancel. So our final answer then is in the numerator, y squared. In the denominator, 5. Next example, b to the negative 4th power. It's not proper to leave an answer with a negative radical, or negative power, excuse me. So the rule of thumb is to change that to a positive power. So I'm going to flip it. So now it's 1 over b to the 4th. Example E, 16 over 2 to the negative 3rd power. There is an issue with the negative 3rd power. You can rewrite that as bringing this up to the top. So now it's 2 raised to the positive 3rd power. And then 2 to the 3rd power is 8, because 2 times 2 times 2 is 8. Then multiply those numbers together. 16 times 8 is 128. Next example, you can take this a couple different ways. One way is, notice that this base is a 2 and this base is a 2. So you can add the exponents. Our exponent here is a 1. Our exponent here is a negative 4. So 1 plus negative 4 equals 2, and then 1 plus negative 4 is negative 3. Then remember the rule of negative powers, you have to flip that down to the denominator. So now it's 2 to the positive 3rd power And then in the denominator, 2 times 2 times 2 is 8. So you're left with 1/8. Last example. AB, all raised to the negative 1 power. You can rewrite that as 1 over AB to the positive 1 power. Or 1 over A times B.